In this video we are going to be looking at making some goat's cheese. So I have a friend down the road who has a farm and has some goats, and so I usually buy some goat's milk from her, but it was starting to go off a little bit, so I decided I would try and make some cheese. I've also been testing out some various gluten-free bread recipes and was really happy with this recipe for bread, so thought I would try out some cheese on it. So maybe later on I will do another video showing you the bread recipe. But for now, let's get on with making goat's cheese. So for the ingredients, you need a litre of goat's milk, some lemon juice and a bit of salt. You can also use this recipe for cow's milk. It will work fairly much exactly the same. So empty your litre of milk into your pan, and then what you want to do is just warm it up till 185 degrees or just starting to simmer. The cream in my bottle had got a little stuck as it had got cold in the fridge, so just wanting to make sure that that cream got into the pot as well. Then just gently heat the milk. You want it to reach 185 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 85 degrees centigrade. But basically you want it to be starting to bubble but not quite boiling. So if you don't have a thermometer, you can just watch the milk, and as it's just starting to bubble a little bit, let it bubble for maybe 15-20 seconds or so, but not get to boiling. But carry on just stirring it gently to make sure the heat is evenly distributed, and also not burning or sticking to the bottom. If you have a double boiler, that will also help with not burning. So here you can see it's just starting to gently bubble a little bit, and just make sure that that does it for about 10-15 seconds, and you'll know it's the right temperature. You then just want to turn the heat off and then get ready to add your lemon juice. So for 1 litre of milk I added 1/4 of a cup plus 1 tablespoonful of lemon juice. If you have any other acid, like a white cider vinegar, like a sweet vinegar, that could work as well. So just add that in and stir it around so that it gets mixed in well with the milk. And fairly much instantly you'll see the milk starting to separate. So you'll be getting the curds, which is the protein and fat, separating away from the watery bit of the milk, so which is the whey. And you can use the whey in cooking later as well. So I just stirred that in, waited for maybe 10 minutes or so to let it cool down, and then strained it. So here you can use a cheesecloth, or I've got a nut milk bag which has a very fine mesh. So just poured the mixture into that to strain it. I did strain it into a bowl because I wanted to keep the whey so that I could use that for cooking later on. Then you just want to lift up the bag to let the majority of the whey come out, and then some way of hanging it above the bowl so you can leave it to continue to drain off the extra liquid for about another hour or so. I did squeeze it just a little bit to start with, trying to get the excess water out of it, but depending on how dry or soft you want your cheese will depend how long you hang it for and let it drain. So I came up with a solution to hang mine by hanging the bag around a wooden spoon and putting it in a tall jar that I've got. But however you can manage to hang your bag, just to figure out a way to be able to do that. Just make sure that it's secure and that it's not going to fall, or if you're doing it in a cheesecloth, that you've tied the cloth well enough so it's not going to open up. So once I'd drained the cheese, I just wanted to shape it a little bit. But before I did that, I just wanted to season it a little bit with salt. So obviously, I think it tastes a little bit better with salt, but if you want to add anything else at this point, you could add garlic and herbs or whatever you want to add to it. So I just emptied the cheese out into a bowl and mixed in about a teaspoonful of salt to my cheese. Although it might look a little bit crumbly as it comes out the bag, it is actually still quite soft, so don't worry too much about that. But if you feel like you have drained your cheese too long, then you can just add a spoonful or so of the whey back into the cheese just to soften it up a little bit. Then once you've thoroughly mixed whatever you want into your cheese, it will be time to shape it. So what I used was just one of those non-stick silicone sheets that you would normally put on your baking tray to stop things sticking. So I just find them very useful for lots of things, including being able to roll out my cheese. So I just used half of the mixture and then gently squeezed it and just rolled it in the sheet to try and get a nice rolled cheese shape. I started off being quite gentle with it, but it didn't seem to quite stick together well, so I then decided I would squeeze a little harder, and that seems to do the job with getting it to keep its shape. I also found that rolling away from me rather than the other way around, how I was first of all, worked a lot better as well. Then to store it, I just got some cling wrap to put it in and just rolled it up in that, ready to put in the fridge to store. Not that it lasted very long in the fridge, as I ate it up fairly quickly. So once I did that, obviously I then had to do the same with the other half and got that wrapped up as well. And then it was time to enjoy it. So I toasted some of my gluten-free bread and spread some butter and goat's cheese on it. And a friend of mine had recently made some aubergine or eggplant chutney, which went perfectly with this goat's cheese and toast. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Please do check out some of my other videos, and I am going to attempt to make sure we have at least one foodie video a week. Please let me know in the comments as well if you'd like me to do a video visiting my friend's farm and seeing what things she grows there, as well as the animals that she's got. It's quite a small farm. It's more of a farmstead really, but yeah, let me know if you're interested in seeing that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you try this recipe out. Please let me know in the comments how it goes for you, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care.